Hello, everybody. This is Danny from The Right to No Longer Exist, and today I would like to share another letter with everybody. I have spent the better part of last month working on it, and some of this letter is a little different because it shares the philosophical positions that Kevin, Amanda, and I all share. Now, you do not have to agree with the conclusions that we came to in order to support the right to no longer exist, but I think it's important that we share ours because it has, served as the glue that held us all three together to form this movement in the first place. So without further ado, here goes something. We are anti-theists who reject the concept of God, the afterlife, and all other belief systems that claim there is something beyond the physical. We view religion as poison which adds more dysfunction to an already chaotic world. We strive for a civilization that values facts and reason, not faith. We are sentiocentric, meaning we value the welfare of all living things and take their suffering just as seriously as our own. Therefore, we are against practices such as forced breeding and factory farming. We've concluded that the only negative to emerge from chemical reactions in our universe is life. This cosmic tragedy has led to 600 million years of sentient slaughter through the hyperviolent process of evolution, a process that will continue until extinction. In our view, coming into existence is the harm. The fact that we cannot have a biosphere without the brutality of the food chain is evidence to us that peace is fundamentally incompatible with life. Without life, there can be no deprivation, grievances, anguish, or bloodshed. No risk of enduring any type of negative state whatsoever, including the dying process. Therefore, we are ethically opposed to imposing these harms on others by procreating. The popular term for this philosophy is antinatalism. As sentient beings, we are burdened with the labor-intensive drive to chase comfort in exchange for brief periods of relief. Then it's back to the battlefield where hardships are guaranteed. The good never comes easy, and the half-life of satisfaction is short. Furthermore, our nervous systems are wired with the capacity to experience suffering far more intensely and in longer duration than pleasure. To give an example, the best orgasms can never compensate for the worst car crashes. We are fragile creatures forced into a dangerous reality. A reality where everyone is doomed from birth to one day be painfully destroyed by the natural process. All the memories, knowledge, and relationships that we've acquired throughout our lives will be lost. To put it bluntly, we are screwed. With this understanding, we find the opposition to the unconditional right to die to be irrational. The closest thing to a loophole that anyone can have is the ability to exit gracefully when they see fit. Even optimists will agree that living is hard work. But if you are not allowed to quit, then what are you but a slave, a prisoner held captive by the will of others? If people are going to preach to us that taking the shortcut to the void is bad, they'd better have at least one sound argument to back up their claim. We live in a society that clings to this narrative that life is a gift that must be preserved and perpetuated. This is why anyone, regardless of age or situation, is allowed to create life without the obligation to meet any criteria. Yet these same freedoms do not apply to those who want to create their own death. The right to no longer exist is committed to fighting for everyone's freedom from existence as a basic human and constitutional right, not a privilege that must be earned through suffering. It's your life, your body, therefore it should be your decision. We oppose any right to die legislation that segregates people based on their circumstances. We find such policies to be outright discriminatory. Even countries with the most liberated right to die laws value paternalism over the individual. For example, if a Dutch citizen wants to die due to a mental health condition, they will most likely endure a long waiting period with rounds of therapy until they meet their government's subjective definition of what unbearable suffering is. Nobody should have to go through that torment. Better than nothing should no longer be accepted as good enough. We must unite as a global community and spark a social revolution to fight for what the right to die should be, not what it currently is. We recognize that our position on this issue is radical compared to other right to die philosophies. For the sake of clarity, we would like to further elaborate on what the right to die is and isn't. We are not a suicide cult, nor are we suicidal ourselves. We are simply a nonviolent human rights organization that advocates for the right to die without the red tape. We do not partake in illegal activities such as providing people with ways to die. In fact, we have warned many times about the dangers of using DIY methods. However, we are deeply concerned by the fact that people will continue to butcher themselves unless the peaceful pill becomes readily available to the public. We respect everyone's right to continue their existence if that's what they desire. If you happen to be a life-loving, rainbow-chasing journey junkie with the goal of living to 100, then go for it. Last but not least, the right to no longer exist is a movement that will not give up on this cause. We are here to stay, so that someday everyone can have the right to leave. Thank you very much.